Sometimes even the best TV shows make mistakes, and Leave It to Beaver is no different. Many fans missed the small error hidden in the show's innocent charm, but once you see it, you'll wonder how it aired. This scene wasn't edited, and the mistake is right in front of you. It could be a mistake in the background, a missed line, or a prop that doesn't belong there. Did the team miss it, or did they mean to leave it there? Get ready, because Past Paradise will show you the uncut moment that will change how you always see this popular drama. If Ward Cleaver had forgotten his lines, was it a perfect take or an accident that made it funny? In the 1950s, live TV tapes didn't always allow for many takes, and real-life events would sometimes become hilariously funny by accident. Ward Cleaver, played by Hugh Beaumont, forgets his words during a touching family talk. This is one of the most talked about mistakes from Leave It to Beaver. Fans still talk about this scene in 2025 as a great example of how accidental mistakes can make a show seem more real. In this scene, Beaumont gets confused about what he's saying, and there is a short but clear stop. For the change, he doesn't break character or stop the scene. Instead, he makes up a line that fits and makes the conversation funnier. A quick, made-up line was added to this in return by Barbara Billingsley, who played June Cleaver. What could have been a weird moment felt very normal and comfortable because of this. No changes were made to the episode, which showed how skilled and well-matched the players were. Fans saw the mistake as proof that the Cleaver family has flaws, but is also very cute. This indicates that even the best shows can occasionally use a raw, surprising moment. People like the fun and relatability of these mistakes. People still love this part of TV history. June's kitchen mistake, a perfect mistake you can't see again. The fun of TV often comes from its flaws. In a popular episode of Leave It to Beaver, June Cleaver, played by Barbara Billingsley, does something cute in the kitchen that fans still laugh about today in 2025. June sets the table for the family with care in this famous scene, and she talks about how important it is to stick to routines around the house. By accident, she knocks over a pitcher of water in the middle, which makes her look shocked. The part of the scene that stands out is how quickly Billingsley gets better. The accident is seamlessly woven into her dialogue, and she says, "Well, there's one more thing to clean up today," with a motherly calm. The scene wasn't cut because her quick thinking and natural reaction were so true to June Cleaver's caring and resourceful personality. The mistake that wasn't supposed to happen brought out the show's natural rhythms and made it seem more like a real family. Many fans of Leave It to Beaver think that what happened on the show didn't match what happened. These times are still treasured as memories of the people who made great TV shows, even though TV constantly changes. Fans now talk about and remember June's mistake in the kitchen on fan sites and in retrospectives. It has all the classic charm of a show that made people feel like they lived with the Cleavers. Eddie's epic eye roll. Was it staged or real? Eddie Haskell, played by Ken Osmond, was a friendly and sarcastic Leave It to Beaver friend. He was known for pulling funny faces and pulling funny pranks. The scene where Eddie is caught trying to charm June Cleaver while planning something with Wally is still remembered and praised in 2025. Fans call it Eddie's epic eye roll. Eddie is naughty and dramatic, and Osmond's dramatic eye roll perfectly shows this. History buffs and TV fans are curious whether this famous move was planned ahead of time or added on the spot. People who work behind the scenes say that Osmond's eye roll wasn't in the script at first, but came naturally after a funny pause in the talk. It was noted that the team and cast were laughing so hard at how unplanned the scene was that it was left in the final cut. This unplanned event showed how well Osmond could play Eddie's sneaky nature and made the scene seem more fun. Over the years, Eddie Haskell's eye roll has become part of his character. Many fans think it's one of the show's funniest and most authentic parts. Still, it's a great example of how cute old TV shows can be. The mistake that became famous, Beaver Stumble. Leave It to Beaver is still praised for being honest and charming, which were sometimes brought out even more by a conversation that wasn't meant to be there. As of 2025, Beaver's sudden fall in a significant scene is still one of the most famous and talked about parts. Jerry Mathers had to speak seriously as Beaver Cleaver while walking through the living room. This was meant to show how angry the character was becoming. But just as Mathers was setting up for the touching moment, Beaver tripped over a piece of furniture that wasn't where it should have been. It was possible for filming to stop, but Mathers quickly got back on track and said something funny that wasn't cut from the final version. "Well, that's just my luck, isn't it?" The scene aired without any changes, which showed how well Mathers could improvise and stay in character even when things went wrong. It turned out that Beaver's situation was more like ours after he fell, which made it one of the cutest shows. Fans liked the mistake because it made them think of how honest and friendly the Cleaver family was, as they had flaws and had to make up things on the spot. Beaver Stumble shows how unexpected mistakes can make stories more interesting as the way TV shows are made changes. That's why Leave It To Beaver is still watched by many people, young and old. A laugh track for the wrong joke. Did it happen by accident? In early TV shows like Leave It To Beaver, canned laughter was used to make jokes better, which was a bit strange. In 2025, fans and experts still don't agree on one famous scene from the show. The laugh track plays during a scene that wasn't meant to be funny. What made Beaver not want to go on the class field trip? He talks with Wally in a tense voice. As the talk gets more serious and Wally gives good advice on making better decisions, the laugh track comes on and breaks up a moving moment. Years have passed and people still don't know if this was an accident or a terrible joke that went wrong. From what people who worked on the show say, the laughs may have been added by chance while it was being edited. This is because in the 1950s, technology often had to be synced by hand, which meant mistakes were possible. Some people think the scene may have been moved around after the fact, so the scene's tone doesn't match the picked laugh track. It doesn't matter what caused the laughs to be there by accident. Fans like them because they were so strange. That moment makes me think of how bad early TV was, which adds another layer of fun to the show's lasting effect. The conversation at the diner didn't go as planned. Leave It To Beaver is excellent because it can make silly mistakes fun. People still love to talk about the famous scene from Diner Dialogue, where things got funny when they went off track. In this episode, Wally and Beaver are having milkshakes at a diner while discussing a small argument with Eddie Haskell. A server accidentally knocks a plate off the bar, making a loud noise that breaks up the talk as Wally starts his line. The scene was meant to show how brilliant Wally was at handling things, but Tony Dow, who played Wally, seemed distracted by the noise. Instead of stopping or acting out of character, Dow leaned in and said, "It looks like Eddie's still making trouble from across the diner." Following suit, Jerry Mathers, Beaver, said his line with extra humor, making the accident into an unintentionally funny exchange. The team chose not to edit the scene because it added a realistic and funny element that fit the show's family-themed tone. Fans saw this mistake as proof of how well the group could improvise and how charming it is when things don't go as planned. The diner dialogue scene is still a great example of how surprise can bring life to TV, so Leave It To Beaver will always be a classic. Why that well-known scene almost wasn't cut. There is a famous scene from the history of Leave It To Beaver that almost got cut during production, but became a turning point in television history. In 2025, fans still talk about how this close call changed the show's history. The scene, which was meant to show how daring Beaver is, ends with him accidentally knocking over a family heirloom, a vase on display in the Cleaver living room. During shooting, the vase broke before it was supposed to, which stopped the conversation and stunned the group momentarily. The mistake was meant to be cut out in early drafts of the show because it was thought to take away from the story's emotional arc. But when the directors watched the video again, they saw how naturally funny and chemistry-filled the group was as they acted their way through the situation. Hugh Beaumont suddenly said, "Well, that's one way to pass down a family tradition." He said it with his usual dad-like charm, which brought the whole thing together. Leaving the scene raw was a brilliant move that made the Cleaver family more real and relatable. Fans loved that the event wasn't planned. They saw it as a rare look into the flaws of regular life. Today, this famous accident is remembered as one of the best-known examples of how chance can make a story magical. When Eddie Haskell did something bad and no one noticed. Eddie Haskell, played by Ken Osmond, was known for having two sides to his personality and being too nice, which made him one of the funniest characters on Leave It to Beaver. Even in 2025, fans of the old show are still interested in one scene where Eddie Haskell subtly broke character. Eddie and Wally Cleaver plan to go to an illegal party, and Eddie makes one of his famously flattering comments to June Cleaver. But instead of his usual over-the-top delivery, Osmond lowered his voice and said, "Mrs. Cleaver, this is not a joke." The cast and crew didn't notice the small change in Eddie's mood while filming because the speech fit into the scene. Fans didn't notice the oddity until years later, which led to debates about whether Osmond had temporarily dropped Eddie's famous front or if it was an attempt to give the character more depth. The scene aired exactly as it was because it was in the show's final cut. It has since been studied as a rare glimpse of Eddie's possible weakness or Ken Osmond's improvised genius. This accidental change in Eddie's mood is still a treasured Easter egg in Leave It to Beaver lore, showing how engaging Eddie Haskell's personality is. Why the dog owned by Cleaver wasn't supposed to bark in that scene. In an episode of Leave It to Beaver, the Cleaver family's dog, who was usually quiet, became the center of attention by mistake in a scene that fans still love today in 2025. In this episode, Beaver and Wally are in the living room with Ward Cleaver, who teaches them an important lesson about being a good father, being responsible, and working as a team. At the same time, the family dog, usually off-camera or in the background, starts barking loudly out of the blue, cutting Ward off in the middle of a statement. The barking wasn't planned. The dog reacted to a slight noise on set, like a prop falling or a light moving, that got in the way of the usually smooth shooting. Hugh Beaumont quickly got back on track with a charming remark. "It looks like the dog has some thoughts about that too." He then smoothly added the interruption to the scene. The moment was kept in the final cut because the producers thought it was funny and realistic, which added to the show's realism. Since then, fans have seen the mistake as a cute example of how the dog's behavior reflected how real family life is. There is no doubt that the barking incident is a one-of-a-kind example of how unplanned events can make TV stories more relatable, keeping Leave It to Beaver fresh and interesting for viewers of all ages. It's a mistake that shows how charming and funny the show is. The double take that made people play the video again. There are a lot of blink-and-you-miss-it moments in old TV shows, but the famous double-take scene from Leave It to Beaver is still a fan favorite in 2025. In that episode, Hugh Beaumont's character, Ward Cleaver, reads the newspaper while Beaver and Wally fight about a school project. As the boys' fight worsens, Ward puts down his paper and does a perfectly timed double-take in reaction to Beaver's crazy comment. Beaumont's quiet reaction, a mix of amusement, doubt, and fatherly patience, makes the scene great. The moment's natural timing makes it so interesting, which is why many fans think it wasn't planned, but was relatively unscripted. In the days before stop and restart buttons, this reaction's bright detail might not have been caught on the first watch. But as reruns and digital viewing become more common, fans can watch the scene again and enjoy its depth and fun. Many people even think that this short but memorable double-take made Ward's character more believable by showing the daily details of being a parent. By leaving this simple scene in the final cut, the makers captured the charm and realism that made Leave It to Beaver a classic show about family life that has stuck with viewers for decades. A forgotten camera angle shows a goof. Even the most carefully made TV shows make mistakes from time to time, and Leave It to Beaver has its fair share of funny ones. One such case, which is still amusing to fans in 2025, includes a lost camera view that showed how fake a scene was. In this episode, Beaver and Wally talked deeply in their shared bedroom. This was done to show a close moment between siblings. But when the camera moves to a different angle for dramatic effect, you can see the edge of the set and glimpse the studio lights and platforms beyond the walls. This accident breaks the image of the Cleaver home for a moment, giving fans a rare look at how the show is made. Because early TV plans and funds were tight, reshooting or cutting the scene to fix this mistake wasn't a top priority when it was filmed. Even though the error was made, the scene's emotional impact stayed the same, with viewers focusing on the brothers' touching conversation. Over time, This lost camera angle has become a favorite Easter egg for fans, showing how charmingly imperfect old TV production could be. The mistake doesn't take away from the show's history. Instead, it adds a layer of nostalgia and realism, honoring the creativity of a time when stories were more important than technology limits. How the lighting made a scene look stranger than it should have. When making TV shows, lighting is essential for setting the tone and mood of a scene. However, in one episode of Leave It To Beaver, an extreme lighting choice created an almost surreal effect that wasn't meant to happen. As of 2025, this moment is still a favorite among TV fans who love the weird things that used to happen on TV. In this scene, Beaver tries to tell Ward why he failed to convey an important message. The Cleaver living room was supposed to feel warm and welcoming, but a spotlight that was too bright, probably because the setting wasn't right, cast harsh shadows across the set. It was because of the shiny surface of a nearby mirror that these shadows were even more substantial, giving Beaver's face an unsettling look. Even though the conversation stayed sincere, viewers couldn't help but notice the strange atmosphere that made the moment feel overly dramatic without meaning to. Due to the tight plans of the time, it's possible that reshoots or changes to the lighting weren't thought necessary, and the scene aired as it was. Over time, fans and experts have grown to love this strange lighting mistake as a cute example of how small technical mistakes could add to the charm of old TV. The lighting problem may have changed the scene's mood, but it made it even more memorable in the history of Leave It To Beaver. How a naughty prop became a classic Beaver moment. In 2025, the Broadway revival of Beaver Tales brought unexpected hilarity to the stage when a prop malfunction turned into a moment of theatrical gold. As the lead actor delivered an emotional monologue, the show's centerpiece, a model of a beaver dam, unexpectedly collapsed. The carefully constructed set piece tipped over mid-scene, spilling a comical mixture of glitter and faux water across the stage. Instead of freezing, the cast played along, improvising lines about Mr. Beaver's lackluster craftsmanship and the unpredictability of nature. The audience laughed, and the mishap became a beloved performance memory. Clips of the incident quickly went viral online, where fans praised the actor's quick wit and professionalism. Hashtags like #DamnDrama and #BroadwayBlooper took over social media during the accidental collapse, into an iconic moment celebrated by theater enthusiasts. Critics lauded the cast's ability to transform the unforeseen into an organic part of the show, emphasizing the beauty of live theater and its unpredictability. This hilarious turn of events highlighted the cast's creativity and brought renewed attention to the play, making it one of the most talked-about productions of the year. The now famous Beaver moment symbolized resilience and humor, reminding audiences that happy accidents sometimes shape the best performances. The mistake that no one noticed in Wally's bedroom scene. In 2025, film enthusiasts spotted an amusing yet unintentional error in a pivotal scene of the hit movie Wally's World, cementing it as a memorable pop culture moment. The scene in question, set in Wally's bedroom, was meant to showcase a heartfelt conversation between Wally and his best friend, capturing the essence of friendship and vulnerability. However, eagle-eyed fans later noticed an out-of-place detail: a production crew member's reflection accidentally visible in the mirror behind the actors. The error went unnoticed during filming and post-production, making it to the movie's final cut. What made this blooper iconic wasn't just its humor and how audiences embraced it. Social media lit up with fans creating memes, jokingly inserting themselves as the third friend in Wally's room. The hashtag Wally's Mirror Mishap trended globally, sparking conversations about other famous bloopers in cinematic history. Rather than detracting from the film's emotional impact, the mistake only endeared fans further to the production, celebrating its imperfect charm. Critics later applauded the filmmakers for leaning into the moment, releasing a statement acknowledging the blooper and humorously naming the unseen crew member as an honorary cast member. This lighthearted reaction turned a minor oversight into a beloved piece of trivia, reinforcing the idea that even the most polished productions have room for delightful human errors. How to deal with goofy props: the door that wouldn't close. The year 2025 delivered another classic theater blooper that left audiences in stitches during the acclaimed play Whispers of the Manor. In the heart of a tense, dramatic scene where the lead character was meant to storm out of a dimly lit study and slam the door shut for emphasis, the prop door had other plans. Refusing to close, the stubborn door swung back open repeatedly, defying the actor's increasingly frantic attempts to shut it. What began as an interruption soon turned into comedic genius as the cast cleverly embraced the rogue prop, adding improvised lines like, "Even the doors in this manor have secrets to tell." The audience, initially confused, was swept up in laughter at the impromptu humor. Clips of the moment quickly surfaced online, sparking hashtags like #DoorDrama and #PropsGoneWild to trend across social media platforms. Far from harsh, critics celebrated the actors' adaptability and praised their ability to turn the mishap into a performance highlight. Fans adored the unexpected twist, and the door blooper symbolized the charm and unpredictability of live theater. Fans adored the unexpected twist, and the door blooper symbolized the charm and unpredictability of live theater. Whispers of the Manor enjoyed renewed attention, with audience members flocking to see if the rebellious door might stage a repeat performance, securing its spot as one of the most endearing accidents in theatrical history. Ward's unexpected quip: genius on the spot or edited? In 2025, one of the most talked about moments in television came from the hit series Suburban Shadows, when Ward, the show's witty yet reserved character, delivered an unanticipated line during a pivotal scene. The moment unfolded during an intense family argument where the tension peaked. Suddenly, Ward broke the atmosphere with an offhand quip: "Well, if chaos is the new family tradition, I'll bring the confetti." The unexpected humor brought the scene to life, catching the audience and the other actors off guard. Speculation swirled among fans and critics alike. Was this brilliant one-liner an act of quick improvisation, or was it a clever addition during post-production edits? The mystery only deepened as showrunners refused to confirm the line's origins, instead playfully inviting viewers to interpret it for themselves. The quip became a cultural phenomenon, fueling countless memes and inspiring merchandise like T-shirts with Ward's now iconic phrase. Social media erupted with hashtags such as #WardWisdom and #ImprovisedGenius, with fans celebrating the blend of tension and levity that made the scene unforgettable. This singular moment not only showcased the complexity of Ward's character, but also highlighted the creative genius behind the show's production, providing that sometimes the unexpected resonates more deeply with an audience. A funny technical fail about when June's vacuum came to life. In 2025, June's latest cooking tutorial took a hilarious turn when her high-tech vacuum, which was supposed to clean up effortlessly, broke down spectacularly during a live stream. The event started as usual with June showing off her cooking skills and chatting with her audience. But when she spilled flour on the counter and reached for the vacuum to show how well it worked, the device sprang to life, literally. The vacuum, which had AI-powered navigation, started whizzing across the kitchen floor uncontrollably, bumping into cabinets and even trying to suck up a nearby dish towel. The chaos got even worse when it got tangled in June's apron, which made everyone laugh. Instead of trying to stop the device, June joked, "Looks like even my vacuum wants to be the show's star." Her quick thinking and humor turned the mishap into a memorable comedy highlight. Fans quickly shared videos of the mistake online, and hashtags like #JuneAndHerVacuum and #KitchenChaos became popular worldwide. The mistake led to much talk about how unpredictable smart home devices can be, with some calling the vacuum the kitchen terminator. Critics praised June's ability to turn the technical malfunction into an entertaining show, highlighting the charm of live streaming. Ultimately, the funny mistake made her more popular, solidifying her reputation as a relatable and tough-minded food personality. Wallys' Lost Book, A Small Mistake in Bright Light. In 2025, an amusing detail from the critically acclaimed drama series Urban Echoes became the talk of fans and critics, highlighting the charm of small on-screen mistakes. The scene in question concerns Wally, a pivotal character known for his meticulous nature, engaging in a heated conversation about trust and responsibility with his sister in the family library. Integral to the dialogue was a reference to Wally's favorite book, which was meant to be visibly placed on the table to symbolize his character's intellectual depth and emotional grounding. However, when fans closely examined the episode, they noticed the book was missing entirely from the scene, despite the dialogue consistently referencing it. While the oversight was subtle enough to escape notice during production and its initial airing, sharp-eyed viewers eventually caught on, leading to a flurry of discussions online. Social media hashtags like #WallysMissingBook and #LibraryMystery began trending as fans speculated whether the omission was intentional or a simple error in set design. Rather than detract from the series, the mistake added a layer of intrigue and humor to the episode, prompting viewers to rewatch it to search for more hidden quirks. The missing book blooper now stands as a testament to how even minor missteps in storytelling can resonate with audiences, adding to the charm and authenticity of beloved productions. This scene wasn't edited. Look closer at this Leave It To Beaver blooper. People who watched the famous 1950s TV show Leave It To Beaver in 2025 found a cute mistake that had been missed for decades. This made them appreciate the show even more. In that scene, a young Theodore Beaver Cleaver was having trouble with a cereal box while he and his brother Wally were discussing breakfast. As Beaver tried to keep the box balanced, it fell over and cereal went all over the table. This did not happen on purpose. The production team left the mistake in the final cut instead of reshooting it or cutting it out. What's so cute about this mistake is how the players stayed in character and acted like the spill was part of the plot. Wally said a funny line about warning Beaver at just the right time, and it felt so real that people thought it was planned. Fans who watched the show again decades later caught the unplanned moment, which caused a wave of nostalgia online. As people shared their new finds, hashtags like #Beaver Blooper and #Unedited Classic became popular. Some critics liked how the show chose to show flaws, saying it captured the youth and relatability of family relationships. This episode's funny mistake reminds us of old-school TV's charm, where awkward moments often add to the story. This is why Leave It To Beaver is still popular today. The scene with the vanishing cookies on the Cleaver table. In 2025, fans of the popular TV show Leave It To Beaver found a funny continuity mistake that quickly became a fun topic of conversation. In the scene in question, the Cleaver family is talking at the dinner table, where a plate full of cookies is in the middle. People paying close attention noticed a funny discrepancy as the talk continued. The cookies seemed to disappear and then resurface between camera cuts suddenly. The plate would become complete in one picture, but the cookies would be gone in the next, and then they would show up again moments later as if they had not been touched. This small mistake, which was probably caused by mixing up takes while shooting, went unnoticed for decades until streaming services made it possible to look more closely. Fans were thrilled by the find, which they saw as a reminder of the show's cute flaws. Hashtags like #Vanishing Cookies and #Cleaver Table Mystery were all over social media, and people were making funny guesses about who was stealing the treats. Some fans joked that Eddie Haskell's playful personality was to blame for this disappearance, while others made jokes about a cookie thief hiding just off-screen. Both critics and viewers saw the mistake as part of the show's charm, showing that even the most famous shows have human flaws. The episode with the cookies now shows how popular Leave It To Beaver is and how it can continue to make people happy for generations. Why Wally's handwriting was not his own. In 2025, fans of the old TV show Leave It To Beaver fell in love with it again when they noticed a strange flaw in Wally Cleaver's character. In a memorable episode, Wally uses a handmade school essay to impress his teacher. People paying attention noticed something odd. Wally's handwriting didn't look like a teenager would write. Instead, it looked like the writing was perfectly organized and neat, like an adult did with professional handwriting. This small detail, which had been ignored for decades, started arguments online. Folks joked that Wally's father, Ward Cleaver, might have quietly finished the essay for him, or that Wally might have hired a handwriting expert as a stunt. As fans made fun of the inconsistency, hashtags like #Wally's Writing and #Cleaver Mystery were all over social media. Researchers found a more likely reason behind what happened behind the scenes. The show's producers probably gave the script to a studio worker because they wanted it to look good on screen more than it was real. This information solved the puzzle, but it didn't make fans less excited. Instead, it made them appreciate the hard work that went into making the show's lasting charm. The mistake in the handwriting is now a funny reminder of how even small production choices can start long-lasting talks about beloved classics. This makes Leave It to Beaver essential to TV history. When June Cleaver's apron took on a life of its own. In 2025, Leave It to Beaver fans found a funny mistake involving June Cleaver, the perfect TV mom. This mistake has since become a symbol of the charm of old TV. In that scene, June makes breakfast in the family kitchen while wearing her famous apron. As she moved smoothly from one job to the next, her apron caught on a cabinet handle. The minor accident made her lose her balance for a moment, which caused the conversation to stop. As a true professional, actor Barbara Billingsley efficiently worked the incident into her performance. She laughed quickly and warmly and continued the scene as if nothing had happened. Fans didn't realize that the event wasn't planned until decades later, when high-definition re-releases of the show let watchers see the small mistake. Hashtags like #JuneCleaverMoment and #ApronAntics were all over social media, praising how cute and natural the scene was. Both critics and crowds praised Billingsley's poise and realism, which helped her make June seem like the most incredible and controlled mother possible. Fans will never forget the apron mistake as a reminder of the human touch that made Leave It to Beaver so likable. It's a reminder of how unpredictable live performances can be and how appealing it is to accept flaws. The episode with the missing Cleaver family photo. In 2025, a cute finding about Leave It to Beaver came to light again, adding even more memories to the well-known show. During an essential scene in one of the shows, fans noticed a funny detail about the Cleaver family's living room. A framed family picture was put in a prominent place. The episode was about a touching family conversation and included several living room shots. However, sharp-eyed viewers noticed that the famous Cleaver family picture was missing from its usual spot on the fireplace in one scene. A short time later, the image suddenly resurfaced without any explanation, which made fans of the show curious in a fun way. The mistake wasn't seen for decades until high-definition re-releases brought it to light. It was probably caused by rushed production or moving set items around. With hashtags like #MissingCleaverPhoto and #SetDesignMystery, fans made funny guesses about where the photo might have gone during its short disappearance. The mistake didn't take away from the episode. It added to its charm by showing that real people made the show. Both critics and fans were happy about the accident, which they saw as one of the cute flaws that made old TV great. Since then, the lost picture moment has been seen as a fun Easter egg in the memory of Leave It to Beaver. When Eddie gave himself away without realizing. In 2025, fans of Leave It to Beaver were happy about a funny but accidental discovery about Eddie Haskell, the show's famous smooth talker and expert at pretending to be nice. A small but telling mistake made it into the final version of an episode where Eddie tries to impress Mrs. Cleaver with yet another over-the-top praise about how well she cleans. Eddie was bragging about how clean the windows were when he accidentally turned his attention to a window that was marked with smudges. The mistake was so small that no one noticed it for decades because it fit in so well with Eddie's normal behavior. Fans of the show today, however, saw the strangeness and realized that Eddie's attempt at charm had ironically shown how sincere his words were. Hashtags like #EddieGivesItAway and #HaskellBlooper became popular across all platforms as people talked about the findings in a fun way. Fans made up stories that Eddie, who was always a charming schemer, had temporarily lost his way. Some people even said the mistake showed Eddie's unconscious weakness, making him likable. The accident made the show more relatable by showing that even the slickest characters can make mistakes. Experts praised the show for including so many genuine moments in the end product, which added to the show's timeless appeal. This mistake continues to make fans of old TV laugh and feel nostalgic. The Beaver Blenders. Hilarious goofs and gaffes. Even decades after Leave It to Beaver first aired, fans still delight in the charming mishaps and behind-the-scenes blunders that made the show so endearing. One of the most famous bloopers occurred when Jerry Mathers, playing Beaver, accidentally flubbed a line but stayed in character, leading to an unintentional comedic moment that producers loved so much that they kept it in the final cut. Another classic mistake happened when Wally Cleaver, played by Tony Dow, was supposed to open a door smoothly, but the handle came off in his hand, forcing him to improvise while the crew stifled laughter. The show also had its fair share of continuity errors, such as scenes where props mysteriously moved or disappeared between takes, leaving eagle-eyed viewers amused. One hilarious moment involved Hugh Beaumont, who played Wart Cleaver, accidentally calling Beaver by the wrong name, only to have Jerry Mathers play along as if nothing had happened. The cast often struggled to keep a straight face, mainly when unexpected bloopers occurred mid-scene. Barbara Billingsley, who played June Cleaver, once tripped over a rug while delivering a heartfelt speech, causing the entire set to laugh. Rather than detracting from the show, these little mistakes added to its charm and authenticity, making Leave It To Beaver a timeless classic that continues entertaining audiences in 2025. Fans still revisit these moments, proving that even the most minor blunders can become treasured memories in television history. Behind the curtain, unexpected mishaps on set. Even the most polished television productions have their fair share of behind-the-scenes blunders, and Leave It To Beaver was no exception. While the show is remembered for its wholesome family values and impeccable storytelling, the set was occasionally home to some amusing mishaps that fans might not have noticed. One of the most famous bloopers involved June Cleaver's household calendar. In the 1963 episode, The Poor Loser, sharp-eyed viewers spotted that the calendar displayed the wrong year, 1961 instead of 1963. This wasn't the only mistake in the episode. A close-up of baseball tickets revealed a printing error where Mayfield was misspelled as Mayfied in the fine print. Another notable mishap occurred in the silent treatment, where Beaver was painting a door and was startled by a buzzing bee. Since using a real bee on set posed safety concerns, the crew opted for a fake bee attached to a string. Unfortunately, the string was visible on camera, bouncing in front of Beaver's face as he reacted to the insect. While unintentional, these minor errors added charm to the show, reminding audiences that even the most carefully crafted productions have imperfections. Despite these bloopers, Leave It To Beaver remains a beloved classic, providing that sometimes the little mistakes make a show even more endearing. Fans continue to revisit the series, appreciating its timeless storytelling and the amusing slip-ups that made it all the more memorable. The untold stories, funny flubs, and on-screen slip-ups. Even in 2025, Leave It To Beaver remains a beloved classic, and its behind-the-scenes bloopers continue entertaining fans. While the show was known for its wholesome family values, the set was filled with hilarious slip-ups that never made it to air. One of the funniest flubs involved Jerry Mathers, who played Beaver, accidentally calling Hugh Beaumont Dad off-script, causing the entire cast to break character in laughter. Another memorable mistake happened when Tony Dow, playing Wally, tripped over a misplaced prop and had to recover mid-scene, leading to an unintentional comedic moment. The show's attention to detail was impressive. Still, even the best productions have continuity errors, like the infamous calendar mistake in June Cleaver's kitchen, which displayed the wrong year in a 1963 episode. The crew also had to get creative with special effects, such as using a fake bee on a string in the silent treatment, which was visible if you looked closely. Eddie Haskell's character, played by Ken Osmond, had his fair share of flubs, including misquoting a famous book title, which the writers later joked about. Rather than detracting from the show, these small mistakes added to its charm and authenticity. Fans still revisit these moments, proving that even the most minor blunders can become treasured memories in television history. Whether it was a forgotten line, a misplaced prop, or an unexpected laugh, Leave It To Beaver's bloopers remain a delightful part of its legacy. Oops, when the cast couldn't keep a straight face. Even the most seasoned actors struggle to keep a straight face when filming, and Leave It To Beaver had its fair share of hilarious moments where the cast couldn't hide their laughter. One of the most famous instances occurred during a scene between Jerry Mathers, Beaver, and Tony Dow, Wally. The brothers were supposed to have a serious conversation about responsibility, but Mathers accidentally mispronounced a key line, causing Dow to laugh. The crew had to reshoot the scene multiple times because neither actor could regain composure. Another memorable moment happened when Hugh Beaumont, Ward Cleaver, delivered a heartfelt speech about honesty, only for a prop to malfunction mid-sentence. The unexpected mishap made the cast laugh, delaying filming for nearly an hour. Barbara Billingsley, June Cleaver, also had her moments. During one kitchen scene, she was supposed to place a pie on the counter gracefully, but the dessert slipped from her hands and landed upside down. Instead of breaking character, she made a witty remark, making the scene funnier. Though unintentional, these bloopers added to the show's charm and showcased the genuine camaraderie among the cast. Fans continue to enjoy these behind-the-scenes moments, proving that laughter is inevitable even in a carefully scripted world. The legacy of Leave It To Beaver lives on, not just through its wholesome storytelling, but through the delightful imperfections that made it all the more endearing. Ward's Wisdom and Wally's Rex, Set Secrets. Behind the wholesome charm of Leave It To Beaver, the set was filled with unexpected mishaps and fascinating behind-the-scenes moments. Hugh Beaumont, who played Ward Cleaver, was known for his calm demeanor and fatherly wisdom. But off-screen, he had a surprising past. Before acting, he was an ordained minister and even directed several episodes of the show. His ability to balance discipline with warmth made him a perfect fit for the role. Meanwhile, Tony Dow, who portrayed Wally Cleaver, had his fair share of on-set accidents. One of the most memorable incidents occurred when Dow was filming a bicycle stunt scene. The script called for Wally to ride smoothly down the street, but Dow lost control and crashed into a camera rig, causing minor damage to the equipment. The crew laughed it off, and the scene had to be reshot. Another amusing mishap happened when Dow knocked over a set wall during a heated argument scene with Eddie Haskell. The flimsy backdrop collapsed, revealing studio lights and crew members scrambling to fix the mistake. These moments, though unplanned, added to the camaraderie among the cast and crew, making Leave It To Beaver a joy to work on. Even decades later, fans continue to appreciate the show's authenticity, knowing that behind every polished episode were real-life blunders that made the production all the more endearing. The legacy of Ward's Wisdom and Wally's Rex remains a cherished part of television history. The mistake they left in. Leave It To Beaver fans still can't believe it. Even though the first episode of Leave It To Beaver aired in 1957, fans still talk about a funny mistake that was never fixed. At one point in the episode, Mistaken Identity, Wally calls Beaver by Jerry Mather's real name instead of his character's name. The mistake was small, but producers left it in because the show had to be made quickly and on a tight budget. Minor mistakes were usually not noticed in the late 1950s and early 1960s unless they got in the way of the story. Now that the show is available in ultra-high-definition remasters in 2025, viewers with sharp eyes can immediately see the mistake. This makes it again popular among fans of old TV shows on social media sites like TikTok and Threads. What started as a secret production flaw has become a beloved Easter treat that shows how wonderfully flawed early TV was. Blink and you'll miss it. The Leave It To Beaver slip-up that stayed. This mistake from the third season of Leave It To Beaver is one of the most talked about in the show's history. In a short scene, a stagehand's hand can be seen pulling a fake door shut after it opens by chance in the middle of the shot. People who watched it at the time on poor black-and-white TVs didn't even notice the mistake. But now that the 2024 updated 4K version is available to stream on Peacock and Prime Video, it's very clear. In 2025, fans love to bring it up on social media, stopping to share clips of the moment on sites like TikTok and Instagram Reels. Due to limited funds and time, directors had to leave the mistake in the episode instead of reshooting it. It used to be an accident behind the scenes, but now it's a fun way to remember how real and charming old-school TV was. How this Leave It To Beaver blooper became TV history. Of all the famous TV mistakes made over the years, one from Leave It To Beaver has become a TV legend by 2025. In the popular episode, The Bank Account, Wally trips over his line and calls Beaver Jerry, which is Jerry Mather's real name. The makers didn't cut or reshoot the scene because they thought no one would notice on small, low-resolution TV sets. Today, The mistake is a significant deal on the internet, thanks to ultra-clear 4K remasters and millions of fans watching the show again on streaming services like Hulu and Freevee. In 2024, the mistake was even shown in a Smithsonian Channel program about famous TV mistakes that got much attention. Fans don't see the mistake as a flaw, but as a real piece of TV history. This shows that even minor flaws can help a show become beloved by many generations. The hidden error in Leave It To Beaver you were never meant to see. A mistake missed in the episode Beaver and Ivanhoe of Leave It To Beaver has recently been found again, thanks to the 2024 4K remake now widely available on primary streaming services like Pluto TV and Prime Video. In a scene set in a garden, a crew member's shadow goes behind some trees. This was hard for people to see on black and white TVs in the 1950s. Filming plans and funds were tight then, so small mistakes were often left in. In 2025, sharp-eyed fans with high-definition screens made the mistake famous on social media, which made many people miss the show's natural, unpolished charm. The mistake was hidden so viewers wouldn't notice it, but now it's a beloved memory of the early days of TV magic and how flawed people can be. The flaw that made Leave It To Beaver even more iconic. Leave It To Beaver is still a beloved classic American TV show, and one small mistake has only added to its appeal over the years. In the episode Beaver and Poncho, a boom microphone dips into the top of the frame for a short time. When it first aired in 1960, most viewers didn't catch this mistake because TVs at the time had poor clarity, and stories were more important than technical accuracy. Now that it's 2025 and high-definition remasters are available on streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, fans have found the mistake and used it to start a social media trend. The mistake has not hurt the show's history. It has made it feel more real and relevant to current viewers. This cute little thing is a friendly reminder that even old TV shows were created by real people who made mistakes like everyone else. They missed this Leave It To Beaver mistake, but fans didn't. That famous Leave It To Beaver episode, Wallys' Dream Girl, had a small but noticeable mistake that got made. Fans are still talking about it in 2025. A modern car goes by in the background of a garden scene, which has nothing to do with the show's setting of a suburban 1950s neighborhood. People didn't notice when the show first aired in 1961, in part because TVs at the time had low quality and were in black and white. Fans quickly found the mistake when the show was remade in 4K in 2024 and made available to watch on Peacock and Pluto TV. Today, photos of the scene are all over social media, and TikTok makers and YouTube researchers point it out as one of the funniest moments on TV that people often forget about. That's another reason why Leave It To Beaver keeps winning over new generations. Why this Leave It To Beaver blooper was left in on purpose. A funny mistake happened while shooting the 4th season of Leave It To Beaver, and the makers chose to keep it. People are still talking about it in 2025. In the episode Beaver's Fortune, Jerry Mathers accidentally knocks over a lamp as he tries to leave a room. Instead of ending the scene or filming it again, the director decided to leave it as it was because the players were so in character that they were acting like it was planned. The show's goal was to show real, flawed family life, so this choice fit that plan. It wasn't as important to be technically perfect in the early 1960s as it was to be real, which was appealing to fans at the time and still is. In 2024, talks with crew members who were still alive showed that it was a choice. Thanks to re-releases in high definition, this cute mistake has become a fan-favorite Easter egg that honors the golden age of raw TV. Caught on camera, the Leave It To Beaver error hidden in plain sight. Another mistake people remember from Leave It To Beaver is minor and easy to miss. During a talk in the episode, The Passing of the First Day, Beaver's schoolbook fades from his grasp briefly. People didn't catch the simple synchronization error because TV shows in 1959 were not very good. However, fans quickly noticed the mistake since the 2024 4K remake came out, and the show was easy for many people to watch on streaming services like Hulu. Fans of Beaver who like the show now laugh about how the book got lost and see it as part of the show's fun. Today, even the most minor mistakes are carefully fixed, but this mistake takes people back to a time when flaws were part of the magic of early TV.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon